So we have done that. What is the data new data type? Object data type. You can say object array. You can say that it can hold any values. Whether
Yeah.
it can be integer, string, or any
Decimals.
value, bool, decimal, something, any
Okay.
value.
Okay.
Now moving ahead, we will see the with the topic of functions. I will just add new class. Now let's say function study. Now again I will add my main method to it. Now, as I already told you that this is a main method or main function that is called by default when we make this class as a startup class. Okay. Now, if I say function, can you tell me?
One minute. I have a
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
If I share my why I'm not getting this public static void in my console app?
Just share your screen.
Okay. Can you able to see?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Here, how you have shown your thing. Where is that? Okay. The that how about that class void?
Mm,
Why that is not coming in my screen?
okay. Just add a new project. Just go for the new project. I will tell you that why it is not coming. Just go for the new
Okay.
project first.
Okay.
You have select back. You have select console app. Okay, selected. Yes.
Where is that?
Um, yeah, the console app, the where you are. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
click on it. That this means the selection.
Okay.
Okay, then click on
Should I,
next.
okay. Should I click on Windows or something?
No, no,
No,
no,
right?
no, no.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
okay. Now, okay, next. Next, create.
See?
Save. It's asking for the project that you are just closing. Just save it. Click on save. Now, if you see that there is a sign of paint, yeah, just this one, yeah. Click on this icon, drop icon. Convert to
Yes.
program in. Click on this.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is for the you can say when you whenever you do the new starting of the new project.
Okay. Where I can see the saved one?
You can go for the open.
Open. Okay. Open.
Uh, you can go for the here or just right click on your Visual Studio icon uh, the in the taskbar.
Okay.
In
Okay.
your yeah, right click.
Right click. Okay.
Just go for the Visual Studio 2000. Yeah, this one it will show your the recent one, the my console
Okay.
app.sm.
Okay. This one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the last class, I have done this.
Okay. You are going for the if else part. Okay.
Yeah.
Just practice it. that what are the conditions. Give yourself a tested condition, like what if I do this, then what will happen, if I do this, then what will happen.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So this is before the day, first second day's class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday's I did not try. Today I will try and update you. So shall we
Okay.
go for the next one? Shall I directly close this or
Yeah, yeah.
from
Y-
here?
You can directly close this as well.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll stop
So
sharing now.
yeah, I am sharing my. Okay. Now, what we are discussing is functions. Now, can you tell me the definition of a function? Just a small
Okay.
definition.
Okay. Why I'm not? Can you see?
Yeah.
It has. I'm not seeing Martine's website.
Okay. But I have you. It's saying that I am sharing my screen. Uh, I
I
will.
can hear you, but I'm not sure why I'm not.
Uh, I will just again. I will click on share screen. Okay. Now see. Uh, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, yes. Now it is.
Okay. Now, can you tell me the
Yeah.
definition of
Uh,
function?
Function means any kind of action.
Yeah.
Any kind of action is nothing but function. How it
Okay.
is working and all.
Yeah. Just we can say small unit of execution.
Correct.
Okay. It's a function which is small unit of action. Now,
Mm.
this is a function. Public static void. It is also a function. Okay. Now, the scope of this function is inside these brackets only.
Okay.
Whatever I do inside these brackets, it will be executed automatically as it is a startup function. Okay, now
Okay.
what will I do? I will say public static void and test. Okay, and I will say I'll just write a console statement and say in test function. Okay, now if I run this, I think so. This is yeah, I have to make this as my startup class. Now again go for function study, then close it. Why I'm always saying that whenever you make the startup class, just close this console or close this tab. Why? Because suppose if I add one more class, I just add a class here. Okay. Now, so for some reasons, I want this class to be my as a startup class. Okay. Now again, I will go back to my console app, and in the startup object, class one is not there.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why I always said that whenever you make the startup class, just close this, okay, and just delete this.
What do you mean the startup class? You mean next project or next functionality? Oh,
Now
next
suppose
thing.
if I am making the new class here. Now I want this to be executed first. This is the I want this class to be the my startup class. That whenever the project runs, it will first of all it will go inside this class only. It will not
Okay.
go inside this class, not go inside this class. We have studied that how we make this as a startup class. That
Oh,
just right click on the project name, then properties, and here startup object. Just choose that class which you want to be your startup object. Okay. Now I have
okay.
choose
From where did you go to that?
yeah just my
Uh,
project name.
okay,
Just
my
right
brother console. Okay.
yeah right click on this project name.
Okay.
Okay. Then go to
Properties.
properties. Okay,
Okay.
then startup object and select the class whichever you want to be your startup class.
Okay.
Okay, now first of previously it was loop study. When we are doing the loops, I have added one more class, function study, and I will make this as my startup class so that
Okay.
I can say uh, console dot write line and simple print statement in main function. Okay, and I say console dot read key. Okay, now if I run this, okay, no, why it is saying where it is. Okay, just okay. Now again, just
Oh,
yeah.
it will also run the loop again.
Pardon, I can't understand your question.
Why did the error has come?
Oh, it is just a syntax error. It is just a
Okay.
syntax error.
Uh-huh.
I am not
Okay.
going in the syntax right now. Okay, so it will
That's why, but
okay.
we are working on function study
Yeah, yeah,
class, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Why console app is running loop study?
No, no, no. It will look for all the classes. Now, suppose if error is there. Now, suppose I have just misprinted. Okay. Now, it will look for all the errors in the project. Now, if I say
Uh,
run this, now it will say error. Error is where it is expected. Okay. So it
okay, okay.
will,
If we click on the error, it will show the which project it is
yes,
getting error.
yeah,
Okay.
it project is the same, classes are different.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, project is the same, but classes are
Okay.
different.
Okay.
Okay, and it will look for all the classes.
Classes. Okay.
Okay, what is the error in the all classes? If a error is in single class, then it will not execute successfully. It will give you that
Okay.
error is there. The thing is
Okay.
like the startup object means that first when I start my project, the control comes in which class. Now I have selected as a function study. Now control will come here only. Okay. Now if I
Okay.
say I have written two statements, console.writeLine main function and in test function. Okay. Now if I just run this, now there is only one statement that
Yeah.
in main function.
Wait, because
So
it has written in the colon.
uh, I have written this is in the columns as well. Why it is
Okay.
not called? So these statements tells me that functions cannot be executed by themselves.
Okay.
Okay, they have
Mm-hmm.
to be called. Like now, if I run this again, now you see it has printed the in test function as well. Okay, so these statements
What is
uh,
the difference? How did it come now? With what
bec-
did you add?
I just add this. I have called the function. Function can be called by another function.
Test. Okay, okay. So this is one first step. Test is okay, calling the function by name it as test with
Yes,
brackets.
yes.
Okay, okay. Then only it will start testing,
Then it will only start executing.
executing. Okay, okay. When
Okay.
we write test, then only it start executing.
Yes, that this
Oh,
function is called by this main function. I know that whenever I make this as my startup class, the control will come here for the first time when this main function is, or you can say class this is called, it will always come to the main function first. Then it will go execute automatically. And I know that this function will not execute automatically as this has to be called by another function. So I have called this in my main function. When I call this, it will automatically called. Okay.
okay,
And if you
okay.
see that these
What
functions,
what else? What else we can give instead of test?
Here,
Ah,
no, function name has to be the same.
same.
If I
Okay.
say, suppose if I just delete this, and it will give me error that
Okay.
the
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
test does not exist. So it has to be the same as the
Mm.
function name. Only then it can be called. Otherwise, it cannot be. Okay. Now, if you see, uh, you can call the function as public uh, yeah, public static void and name it as test2, and I will just simply write a statement in test2 function. Now again, this function,
Three classes will it will run on the three statements.
pardon,
It will run the three statements, right? Now it runs on the three
no,
statements.
no, it will not run the three statements. As I have made one more function in same in main function and in text function, it will not
Okay.
print the third because this is a function. This is a function, another function, and this is another function. I have called this function inside my main function,
Okay.
but I have not called this test2 function. So if I want to execute this function, I will just simply
If we remove the two, then the in test two function will also come, right?
no. That is another thing. That is another concept. Suppose if I just remove this and here. Now it says the call is ambiguous between the following method properties. Okay, so function name cannot be the same like this. It can be in some cases. I will give you example that, but it will be the afterward. But right now, just say that two function names cannot be same. And if I want to call this second function, I have to again call it over here. Now, if I run this now it says in test2 function. Okay, this
Okay.
way you can call a function. Now, if you see that functions are kept parallel to each other. See, they are parallel. They should be parallel. Function cannot be inside the function. I cannot declare this function here. Okay, so
Okay.
it has to be parallel.
Okay.
Okay. Now suppose there is a function name. Yeah, say int x equal to 100, then int y equal to 300, and say console dot write line and say result is x plus y. Okay. Now I know that it will give me the result.
Result is 400 if you run.
Yeah, it will give result is 400. Okay.
Okay.
Now it
Okay.
is giving me. Now this is the way that I have to, you can say, pass the value. Now here I am hard coding my value. Suppose if I want to change the value for every time, I have to change this value here again and again, again and again. Okay.
Mm.
Now what can I do? I will just say and just comment this one. Okay. Now I can give the value here, or you can say any value. Okay. Now if I run this, it will give me result is 300.
Okay.
Now this function can be used. Okay, now it will, I will just have to pass the values here. Now one thing you have to remember that the number of parameters you are passing here should be same as the number of parameters you passed here. It cannot be one, it cannot be three. If you have passed two parameters, then you have to pass two parameters here.
Okay.
Okay? It cannot be three, it cannot be one. It has to be exactly the same.
Okay.
Okay. Now suppose what will I do? Just say one variable int, uh, say with the result. I will just take int result equal to x plus y, and say result is result. Now if I run this again, it will give me the same answer.
Yeah,
If I,
because you are giving the result as an integer.
yeah, so it will give me the same answer. Result is 350. Okay. Now suppose what will I do? Uh, I will say public static. I will just int. Okay. Now I will say return result. Okay. Now what I have changed the word void and replace it by int. Okay. Now I will just say int h equal to this. I will just comment this one and say console.writeLine sum is, now if I run this,
By H.
pardon,
Did you define the H also
yeah, I have
there?
defined integer h here.
Okay, okay. Uh-huh.
It will give me the integer value. This function will return me the result, as result is an integer. So I have declared this function as public static int. It will give me return value as integer. It cannot give me the string value, or I cannot declare here as string. Now you see it will give me error that cannot convert type into string.
Mm.
So whatever the function is returning the value, it should be the same as this data type. So I have to declare it like integer only. I cannot, if it is int, then it has to be int. If it is string, then it has to be string. Okay. You,
Okay.
this means public static integer. Now suppose if I say somewhat, I will make a function public static bool and say check function, name it as any. Okay, and say int a comma int b. Okay. Now if say if a is greater than b, then return true, either else return false. Okay. So This function will return me true and false. Now, if I say here bool and name my variable as check equal to check function, and I will pass 4 comma 3. Okay. Now I will say console dot write line and say mm, value first is uh, greater, and say plus.
I have a question, Abhijit.
Yeah.
Like, can we declare before starting anything, like you are starting public static bool today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So return true, else return false. These are you are adding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before starting anything, can we uh, can we write a what do you call requirement at least for suppose what we are doing today means
Now I'm just so you want to go for the topics what we are doing today.
no, 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 no. It's not topic. I'm
Uh,
telling, for example, if we are for this requirement, okay, but what we are working
yeah,
on
no,
functions, right?
yeah,
So
functions.
what is the purpose of it? What we are going to show the end result. So that is a requirement for this functionality. So
I'm
based on that,
uh,
so why you are adding return true, else why you are
yeah.
adding false? So I'm always confusing.
I'm just telling you that this is if I say bool, then it
Mm.
will return. If I just add
True or
some
false,
data,
correct.
if I add some data type like int, bool, double, string,
Mm.
then it should return something.
Okay.
Got my point? Whenever
Yeah.
I add a data type in my function name, then it will return me something. Okay,
Okay.
now I am checking here. I will just pass the two values here
Okay.
in my 4 or 3. It can be anything that I want to check that whether this value is greater or suppose if I want to suppose I have 1,000 cases that it comes me that A and B, A and B, A and B. I will type for every case I will type that if A is greater then do this, if B is greater than do this. Then
Mm.
that is a repetition of code.
Okay.
Okay. For that I will make a function here. That will I will just
Okay.
pass A then pass B, and it will get me whether A is greater than B or not. Okay. Now if you say value first is greater, check. Now suppose if I run this, value first is greater 2. Okay, it is greater than the second value. Now if I say 2 here, okay, now if I run this, now value is greater false. No, what I'm trying to say, suppose if I have a sets of data in which say I say I am reading that if suppose some variable, you can say some variable name, if 3 is greater than 4, and say 3 is greater than 4, then do something like this. If it is not, then do something like this. Again, I will say, I will just doing this repetition again. If 4 is greater than 3, then do this, else do this. So this is a repetition of code. So what will I do? I will just make a one function which says whether either it is true or false. I will say int a equal to 8, then int b equal to 10. I will just say pass variable a, then b. Okay.
Okay.
Then it will just give me whether a is greater than b or not. And I can use this function as many times as I want. Suppose for here it says this. Now again and say here. Now here this can be int c equal to 10, then int d equal to 9. Okay, I will just change the variable's name. Okay. Now if I run this, now value first is greater. In the first case, it is say false. 8 is not greater than 10. In the second case, true. That c is greater than d, yeah, 10 is greater than yes. It will give me true. The point is that I have made one function and I make it reusable. The thing is,
Mhm.
right now, don't go here that what I'm trying to, what I'm just say that reusable to functioning. Right now, you have to say if I add my data type name, data or any data type in the function, then it will give me return the value as the same data type. Here it will return true or false. It cannot return me string. I cannot do, okay, cannot convert type string to bool. Okay,
Okay.
so
Mhm.
my point is here, if I add my data type to function name, then it will give me that value the same as data type.
Okay.
Okay, and see that whatever the variables I am passing here, then it should be the same as the number of parameters I'm passing here int ab, then it can be 2. It cannot be 1, it cannot be 3. It has to be exactly the same.
Okay.
Okay, now suppose here I will say one function, suppose in test function. I want to access this variable A. Now, and this variable B. Suppose if I want to access this variable A, I will say int G equal to 100 and say result, or say int result equal to your G into A. Now, I cannot access A. Why? If you see, look over here, the name A does not exist in the current context. Why?
Okay.
Because this
You
the
have,
yeah,
because whatever the class, I mean, public static void, from the public static void in int result G and A, the A is not defined.
yes, because the scope of this, by scope I mean the life of this variable A is
It
inside
ended with this. Yes.
this. This is called
Okay.
as
Okay.
A
What if
is,
what if we remove the closed brackets here?
it will give me an error. No, suppose you
Okay.
see,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because we have to remove the open bracket in the public static. What will happen? The first reference, yeah. If you
yeah,
remove,
this one. Okay,
no, not this.
uh,
This one and the closed bracket about the first reference.
this one.
Yes. Then what will happen?
It will give me error.
Oh, why? This close bracket will should become after this public static void. I
Uh,
mean G into A. Yeah, here.
Here.
Mm.
Okay. Now I already, you cannot call function inside this function, another function. You cannot call this function inside the another function.
Oh, okay, okay. So function is stating for tell sir two times, right? In the same state. Okay.
Now, so now if I want to assess this function, now a is local variable. To make it that it can be used in any class, what can I do? I just can say static int a equal to 8. Okay.
Okay.
Now just remove this. Now you see there is no error coming.
Okay. So if
Okay.
we declare A as a static int, it will come for the all the
Now,
classes, all the functions.
no, no, I don't make it static. The thing is like I have made it globally. Now, if you see the scope of this bracket
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
inside this bracket, that's why this is known as global variable.
Okay.
It can be accessed by any of the functions inside this class body. It can
Oh,
be accessed by any of the function.
okay. So if once we declare the static int as a global variable, then
It
when the class starts int I, we should not write A is equals to 8.
so now suppose if you say int,
Ah,
now it will give me error. This is a non-static. If you see
okay.
that all the things are static, static, static.
Yes.
So thing is that what is mean by static? That everything with the function name is static, so it is the static function. And if the I put static word in front of any variable, then that variable becomes static. Now you see
Okay.
it can access A directly and no
Okay.
error is coming. Okay, now the
Correct.
key points are static function can access only static variables. Now I will make one non-static function. How? That public, you can say uh, public int check non-static. Okay. Now, or you can say public uh, void check non-static. Okay, now there is no data type, so it will not give me any error as I'm not returning anything. But suppose if I want to assess this A, now we say int k equal to 9 and say int result mm, equal to you can say k plus A. Okay, and say console dot write line and say result is result. Now you see that it can assess A. That if I just control plus click on this, then it will take me to this variable. So now you see that non-static function can access
So this whatever the comments we are giving, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that will for those green comments, whatever we are entering with slashes, double
Mm-hmm.
backslashes,
Mm-hmm.
those comments are for our understanding or for
Yes,
functionality understanding.
that's for our understanding only.
Okay, okay.
Now, when we do the coding, this is a, you can say, this is only a, you can say, 60 line of code. Now, sometimes what happens, your class becomes too big that it has got around 5,000 lines of code.
Mm,
So, to make that code understandable for anybody, you put just comments on any function name, just starting of that function, that why have you made this function? What is the use of this function?
mm.
Just small lines, so that if anybody can read the code, it can understand in 1 to 2 minutes that what this function is doing.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Mm.
non-static function can access static variables. Now suppose there is one non-static variable int, you can say v equal to 9. Okay, now I know that this non-static variable cannot be accessed by this static function, but if I say a plus v, so it can access the non-static variables as well. So this means that function non-static function can access static variables as well as non-static variables. Okay. And what is the difference between static function and non-static function? That non-static function will not have a keyword static. Only static keyword will difference between static function and non-static function, and between static variable and non-static variable. And static function can access only static variables, but non-static,
What is static means? It doesn't change or
no, it's just a keyword. No,
okay.
don't go for the definition. It's just a, right now you have to see the difference between the two functions. That once it is contain the keyword static, it is
Mm.
not contain a keyword static. That's the difference between static function and non-static function. And static function can access only static variables only,
Okay.
but non-static variables can access static as well as non-static variables. Now, A is static, so it can access A as well, it can access V as well. So it says, it means that it can access both types of variables, whether it is static, whether it is non-static. It can access both variables. Okay. So this is the main difference between static and non-static function and variables. And
Okay.
this is global variable. Here, if I say right now, I will just delete this because now A is a global variable, but B is local variable, as the scope of B is inside these brackets only. It
Okay.
cannot.
Even CD
Yes,
also local variables, right?
yes, yes.
Okay.
CD is also local variable. It cannot be accessed outside this curly braces.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the difference between local variable, then global variable, then we have then static, then non-static. Okay, so
Okay.
these are the basic things which we are covering right now. That now it function, if the data type, any data type name is in the function name, then that function will return something. That function will return the same data type. Now if I say that this can be non-static as well if I remove the keyword static, but here it will give me error, that because it is a static function, so this function has to be static, because static function can access only static function and variables.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the basic concept, or you can say. And now, right now, should I move forward with another topic or should I halt here? It just depend on you.
Yeah, because yeah, additional it will be little bit hectic for me to understand basics if you go
Yeah.
further. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Otherwise, otherwise, from my end, shall I start doing it the same class? You want me to, if you have time, shall we go like that?
no. I have time. I have. And say we have started at 8:15. But the thing is that I'm depending on you, because if your basics are clear, then you can move further. If your
Yeah, yeah,
basics
that's
are
what.
not clear, yeah.
Whatever you have shown
Yeah.
now. So shall I
Mm-hmm.
start from my end, like same thing, the static int, public static void, these classes, functions, everything. Shall I start from my
Yeah.
end?
Yeah, I want you to start from your end. That's why I'm halt here, because this is just a you can say knowledge part. We are not going
Okay,
doing any coding here. We are not
okay,
doing any coding. This is just for your
okay,
understanding part. That
okay, okay,
what is
fine. Yeah, yeah.
static, what is non-static. Static function can access only static variables, and non-static function can access the both. Then you have to experiment it. So
Okay,
shall I make this function static or non-static? This function can be accessed by this function or not? And how to call a function? Function cannot be
okay,
called by themselves. They have to call under some conditions. Okay, so
okay.
these are things, these are the basics. That's why I'm depending on you. I've already told you that it's the speed. I can, you can say, I can teach you 3 lectures in one lecture. That's not a worry for me.
Yeah,
It's a worry for you because I
yeah,
have the
yeah, I
knowledge.
understand. Yeah. You have yeah, excess knowledge, but I need to catch up everything, right? Before
Yes, that's
understanding. Yeah,
yeah.
correct.
That's why I'm just doing it slow. That's why I'm
Okay.
doing it slow. And
Yeah.
one thing, you have to tell me by tomorrow
Yeah.
that
What regarding what? Yeah. I
difference.
so what did you get chance to speak with your manager or
eh,
whoever the
Yeah, I have speak with the Ashish. His name is Ashish, and
okay.
the thing is that I have asked you the question, can you go for 15 or 16? But you haven't replied me for that. That's
Okay,
why I'm not
I
trust.
thought I need to tell when you ask him or him
No, no, just tell
when
me
you
that,
come.
because
Okay, yeah,
I have told them, I have told
okay,
them that she can go for 15 or 16. I have told them
okay,
this, but you haven't replied me, so I will
yeah,
never
yeah,
trust. Yeah,
okay. Oh, okay,
that's
okay.
why.
Then yeah, yeah. Even I checked with my husband also. So
Mhm.
okay, initially even he was wondered by after telling. So you said 12,000, right? Means I explained everything, whatever happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said.
because
Yeah, he said go with 15,000. Anyway, you liked the lecture, everything, right? So if you are
okay.
comfortable with the same, so no need to wait for an I
Mm.
have to, if I change again, I have to wait for another person in with another institution, and I have to get used to that
Yeah,
everything again it will start, right? So I
but
don't know. Anyway, I like the concept. However you are teaching, I like the way. So yeah, we can continue. Yes.
okay,